Minecraft keeps making mistakes. Just recently, they released this big announcement saying that your librarian villagers are going to be completely different moving forward. They released a snapshot on Java Edition. Obviously, it's going to come to Bedrock too, because they're always doing both on both, but it's coming to Java first. But what's happened now is that certain villagers will offer exclusive enchantments based on what villager they are, what biome they exist in, what biome they live in, or were born in, or whatever like that. Which basically means a swamp villager is going to offer you something that a taiga villager will not offer you. A snowy plains biome villager will offer you something different than both of those, and so on for all the different biomes. But also, there is no swamp village, right? You have to actually take villagers to those biomes and either have them be born there somehow by breeding them together, or by finding some zombie villager that happens to have been spawned in that biome and then cure them, and then you can take them to your village hall or whatever else like that. This obviously is the most recent change and one of the most recent mistakes I would say they're making, so hopefully that gets reverted, or there's some major changes to it before it actually ever gets released. Obviously the snapshot's here now, but it could change before it's actually fully released to everyone and everything like that as a proper update. The reason why I consider this a mistake is because it's very difficult to find all 7 of these biomes in a brand new world. To prove that, I opened up a brand new world and just kind of flew around with max render distance. And I flew around for about 15 minutes before I found about all 7 biomes. But there are thousands of blocks from each other. Even with like nether portals and stuff like that, this can still be a nightmare to traverse and figure out and everything like that. So I think this is a problem just because of that, but also with these village changes also comes the fact that super flat players that have a super flat world and have been, doing this challenge for, days, weeks, or whatever it's like that, and are trying to get all the enchantments that are possible in those worlds, suddenly 90% of the enchantments are no longer possible to get in super flat worlds. Same thing with things like Skyblock and stuff like that, which I've heard people complain about as well. There's a lot of communities within Minecraft that are going to suffer because of this change, which is why I think Minecraft is making a bit of a mistake here. But it's not just the only mistake that they've been making lately. They've also made some other mistakes in the past update, the previous update, the 1.20 update, I think is when they did it. But basically they made it to where you can't put larger mobs in boats. They made it to where you can't take a horse and put it in a boat. I think the same is true for things like polar bears and panda bears and these huge mobs. Why would they do this? Why do they keep making these weird decisions and making the game more difficult or frustrating for longtime players? Not to mention that any horse that was in a boat is supposedly been ejected from their boat when the update came out, which means this could have broken some of your worlds when the update came out. If you had your, horses in a boat and you were waiting to move them somewhere for a while or something like that, and you just happened to not realize that that was a change that was in the game, and now your horse is no longer in your boat, and you're like, oh shit, oh my god, my horse is no longer in my boat, what's going on? Why? It's escaped, it's gone, I'll never find it now. Just weird things like that can happen. And so with this village thing is obviously just the recent changes that they're talking about doing and things like that. And I think it's a weird mistake. Another thing that they've done before as well is change how netherite works. I can kind of get behind that one. I can kind of understand why it was maybe a good idea and maybe not necessarily a mistake. But personally, I feel like they may have made a mistake on this just because a lot of people didn't seem to like it. We already had to use diamonds for all the other trims and stuff like that. Creating a new trim just for netherite is very annoying, especially for people that, haven't gotten that far yet, and now suddenly they were very close to being able to do it. They found some netherite, and then they logged off, and then the next day the update came out and they logged back on, and suddenly they can't make their netherite armor anymore. Stuff like that, of course. That's a very niche specific thing, but I think Minecraft keeps making mistakes with these different changes. I don't know if they're trying to make the game more difficult or what, but in my opinion, I think a lot of these recent things that they've done, again, like with the netherite thing and these librarians especially, I think they're making it a little bit too grindy. Because with the librarians, you have to find... It was so much easier before, and I get maybe that's why they wanted to change it, because you could place the lectern down and then break it and then put it down again and break it and put it down again until you got an enchantment that you were happy with the villager, and then you could trade with them to lock in those trades and then lock them up somewhere or put them away somewhere. And then you could do this again and again with every single villager, and you could get all the trades that you wanted. This took me about like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of playtime to get all these different enchantments. I got an entire village hall. I might have just about every enchantment. I'm missing a few, but once I level them up and stuff like that, they'll probably give me the remaining ones that I'm missing. And so it's a bit of a grind to do that already. And, you know, it's not even that much of a grind, really, if you think about it, because it's only a couple hours of your time. But now you have to get villagers from all different biomes and either find villages in those biomes and go to those biomes and minecart them your way back to your base or something like that, or just keep them there, or use boats or something. There's many different ways you can do it, but all of them are very annoying and take a lot of time, especially just to find in the first place. So I think this is another case where Minecraft is about to make another big mistake, but they've made other ones before in the past, and I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit, maybe rant about it a little bit, and maybe find out what you guys think about these changes that they've made lately. Is Minecraft starting to make a lot of mistakes here, or are they going in the right direction? It's hard to say, because I've seen a few people say that this librarian change is a good change. I've seen some people say that the netherite thing is a good change, and I've seen 0 people say that the horse thing with the boats is a good change. So let me know what you guys think of all these recent changes Minecraft has been making, as well as what other mistakes they've been making that I didn't mention in this video at all. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all those wonderful things like that, because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.